Hello and welcome back for an episode of Patriotic Housewife. I'm going to give everybody a minute to get in. I know it's been a little while, guys, since we all got together. It's been, probably a week and a half. It's been really crazy. The weather's crazy everywhere. So a lot of people didn't have internet. A lot of people didn't have power. So we're kind of just jumping back into it. Hopefully everyone is in a good place. I know Florida's getting crazy weather right now, so we'll see how the power stays today for us. But I figured I would just hop on here, catch up with you guys. A lot has obviously been leaked and gone on the last week and a half, so we'll give people time to get in. I know that YouTube is not exactly leaving people's notifications on, and people are finding out they're unsubscribed randomly and all these different things. So we'll give people a couple minutes to jump in. I also was like really late to letting you guys know that I was even going to do the live tonight. I'll be honest, the weather with my lupus, just I wasn't really knowing how I was going to feel as the day went on. So I just I didn't want to let you guys down by saying I'm doing it and then not feel good. So but we're okay. So we're just gonna go with probably shorter live today, but we're gonna go over some information that was on X and go over some stuff that's been very interesting. So be sure to say hi in the chat. Let me know that you guys are in. And we'll give people a couple more minutes and then we will get rolling, permitting that we get people in here. If we don't, then maybe I'll just do like a video post versus the live. We'll see how many people can make it tonight with the last minute live. Hi, Court. You've been in here plenty of times. How are you? I hope you're doing okay. I know the weather's been absolutely wild the last couple weeks for everybody. So welcome in, guys. Hello. I hope everyone's doing okay. I know the weather is absolutely, I think, horrible for a lot of us. So right now it's really crazy outside. So I'm hoping the internet stays tonight, but we'll see. Fingers crossed. So we're going to go over a bunch of Stu Peters interviews that were done on X. Hi, Suzanne. Yeah, Court. It's with autoimmune. It's like, I just never know how I'm going to feel. So sometimes I don't even like tonight. I was actually not feeling good earlier because of the rain and the cold that we're getting with, the bad weather. But I do worse in the heat, but the rain really doesn't do lupus any favors. And that's kind of what's been obviously going on here and in so many places, like the freezing rain, the snow. It's been really crazy. So hopefully everyone's okay. Hi, Jay. Welcome in. Hello. I hope everyone's doing well. Good evening from O'Fallon, Illinois. I hope you guys are doing okay up in Illinois. Achy joints are no joke. No, they're not. And between the lupus and fibromyalgia, I get the muscular end of it and the joint problems. So it's like a double whammy. But yeah, we'll see. All right. We'll give people a couple more minutes to get in here. DeKalb. Okay, I'm familiar with DeKalb. Yeah, Jason, it's hard, especially with the cold. All right. So we're just probably gonna get rolling. I'm trying to give people time to get in here, but I don't know if, like I said, I was late with the live announcement of going live tonight. I know that with the weather, everyone's kind of all over. I think a lot of people are sick right now. I can't even tell you how many people have like the flu, and so on. So I just think all the way around, it's kind of like iffy. So hopefully everyone's doing good. So glad everyone has been able to make it in here. That's in here. So let's probably just get going. Um, I don't know how many people in the chat are you guys following mostly the Charlie Kirk case stuff, or are you guys following more the true crime stuff? So I know where we're at. I know typically with the lives and stuff, it was mainly always like Charlie Kirk. So obviously throughout time, I've been kind of posting different types of content. So I just want to know who's here for Charlie Kirk stuff, who's here, mainly interested in the true crime stuff, because there's just so much going on. Okay, CK, Charlie. Okay. Okay. So we are going to do a lot of going over Charlie. I know that obviously you guys with, all the craziness of TPUSA. I've had this talk with a lot of people the last week that um the fatigue is real, because it's just like we're not really getting to the bottom of who did this. We're kind of at a stall, and it's more or less like we're just getting more information that just proves like they're just absolutely horrible people, and it just like gets worse by the day. But I get it. They're terrible people. I don't know how much more terrible they can get. So, yeah, we shall see. CK mainly. Yeah, I know that Charlie Kirk is something that a lot of people are following people for, and that's good. There's also some other interesting stuff going on as well, but we're mainly going to focus probably on the Charlie Kirk stuff tonight. For those of you that don't have X, you'll like this live because, as you guys know, I always go into what's posted on X for people that don't have X. So we'll be going over a lot of that stuff. I did really enjoy the comparison of Kobe's wife versus Erica. Really painted a new light. Yes, that was that was a good way to compare grief that Candace did. Yeah, there's really no comparing Erica really to anybody. Erica's behavior is just really bizarre. So, as you all know. You're good to listen to. You have a calming voice and personality. Thank you. I try to be calm. I'm usually calm. I don't like to be worked up. It doesn't make me feel good. So, um, all right. So we're just gonna probably head into this. So, like I said, Stu Peters has posted a lot of stuff on X that's been really good. He's done several interviews. And he's had a lot of whistleblowers and certain things. So we are just going to probably jump into that show. So we're going to start with this video first, I think, which is he actually was talking about how Erica's estranged sister, who is emancipated, her name is Tanya, um, really blowing open the fake story about Lori Fransby and the single mom struggling to barely scrape by, sorry, was as easy as taking a peek at those publicly discoverable divorce filings. So that was what Stu Peters was talking about. And so we're just going to go ahead and start this video and listen to the 9 minutes of this, and then we will kind of talk about it afterwards. But like I said, just a few quick things. Stu Peters posted several videos. This is one of them. There's another one where he breaks down more of the TPUSA complete sloppiness of them trying to cover up whatever their involvement was with what happened on September 10th. Obviously all alleged. During the time that we've been off from these lives, we have had, cease and desist go out to certain people. From what I've seen, I don't think there's been a lot. To my knowledge, it's just Candace and Wolves. So from what I know, you guys let me know in the chat if there's anyone that needs to be added to that. But the behavior of them speaks volumes. They really don't have to say much. The behavior and the actions really are loud here. And so like I said, we're going to be doing a breakdown of some of those videos as well. There's just like a lot, I think, that's been leaked out in the last week and a half. Lots of new information, obviously leaking because of the purge of employees that they did. Not too smart on their part. We know Erica, in the past in interviews has talked about how she was raised by a single mom, and, that she's like got the girl boss attitude and outlook on life from that, which is really interesting because she goes on to talk about how she's like not concerned about being a single mother because she had just her mom. So that's like disturbing because what we're going to hear in this video is that, her parents didn't get divorced till she was 10. Her dad was always around, never didn't pay child support, so on and so forth. So for her to act like, she just, her father wasn't present and involved in her life is interesting, and concerning. But yet we've seen him at every event they've even had for Charlie. He's, been shouted out and everything else. So clearly very involved in her life. And the other part that really got me, because of the single mother, you're used to it. She did a great job. That doesn't mean that I would want that for my children and for myself. Having your mom raise you by yourself, doesn't prepare you for your husband getting publicly assassinated and you having to raise two extremely small children by yourself. I don't think anybody would want that and would be able to just like pick up the next day like nothing happened. It's just so good because like I watched my mom be a single mom. So like I now have this experience or this helps me like be able to cope. And so like I'm good. Like just dust off your elbows and like let's go. That doesn't make a whole lot of sense. So, and no one would fault her for struggling to do that. I think that if Erica was more normal and presented herself as struggling, even in the slightest bit, or having a hard time, I think it would have been more inspiring and relatable to others because there's a lot of people that are going through the same thing or something similar, maybe not on the same scale. But there are a lot of people going through things that are looking for other people going through the same thing that are in different portions of grief or different parts of their life experience that could give someone advice. Different, even with lupus and autoimmune, different parts of your diagnosis, different parts of, your journey is, from the year you find out you're diagnosed to 10 years from now, you're a different person. You're in different places in your mind of acceptance and, all these different emotions. And so it would have made her more relatable. I think it would have saved her from being under this microscope, that she's under now. And probably would have saved her from like the non-grieving widow label. But I guess, she just didn't want to go that route. It doesn't make sense. I think it actually would have probably boated over way better. So you look at that and you just go, well, how can she do all these things, jump into this role, go from being a trad wife to now a CEO, literally within like a couple days of him passing away? Because day 5, she was doing these Zoom calls in meetings. And so how do you look at that and go, she had no foreknowledge of what was going to happen to Charlie? Because how do you cope that well if you had no foreknowledge? That's just my opinion. And I don't know how many people feel that way, but that is just my take on it. So anywho, hello, Elena, welcome in. Nothing equates to having both parents under the same roof every night. No, exactly. And so, hi, Sam. I'm so glad to be live too. It's been a while. Yeah. So the whole point of me saying that was just to say that, regardless of the fact that your mom was a successful single parent, does not mean that sets you up to take losing your husband like it was just nothing. That's a bizarre explanation for why you're like acting the way you're acting. That doesn't make sense. We all would like to grow up in a 2-parent household with the support of both parents, the love of both parents, in a healthy environment. So that is weird. And you would want your children to have that as well. So how could you not even be heartbroken just for the fact that your children don't get to have their father and their kids are little? So how much of their father are they really going to remember? The daughter might, because she's I think 3 or 4. She might maybe. I mean, that's probably really being generous. But yeah, so we're just going to jump into this clip and listen to Stu.
Her alone crowd, even though hit her over the head, it was just that Erica Kirk, formerly known as Erica Franzwey. Erica Franzwey, she is a documented liar who lies about everything. No matter how small, no matter how big the lie may be, she's the type of person who goes on national television and claims that she doesn't drink alcohol when video footage from a nationally televised reality show, as you all know, proves the exact opposite. She's the type of person who says that she didn't date anyone for years before she met her husband, Charlie, when video footage from that very same nationally televised reality show once again proves the exact opposite. In fact, the entire point of that show was to document young women and young men drinking alcohol and going on dates. It was called Summer House. Look it up. But of course, Erica's lies don't stop there. She wasn't just going on dates, by the way. She was engaged to a guy called JT Massey, who was a minor league baseball player with whom she tried and failed to audition for even more reality shows like The Amazing Race. She depicts herself as some kind of a puritanical trad wife, but she is anything but that. We've actually got a clip teed up here. It's been going around online, which shows Erica alongside her former fiance, JT Massey, in their Amazing Race audition tape. Watch this.
And we love to run around and travel, and we don't need sleep. I don't need sleep. I drink coffee. I drink like 8 cups of coffee.
It's all good, baby.
I've been to Romania. I've been to Croatia. Lived in Puerto Rico for a little bit. Really handsome.
You look gorgeous. Are you fixing my... I got a little bacon. Babe, that's deep in there. Give them a cleavage. People want cleavage. Showcase it.
Sex sells, babe.
Sex sells. That's me.
That's against our religion.
It's not.
Yeah, don't forget about that. Sex sells, babe, but don't forget, that's against our religion. Excuse me? Okay. Are we seriously supposed to believe that this is some kind of a hardline Christian trad wife who mocks Christianity and sells sex? This is a woman who has been around the block a time or two, maybe more than a time or two. Erica Kirk's entire life story is a fraud. It's a lie. And I'm not just talking about her personal life or her sex life. I'm talking about her entire life. Erica Kirk claims that she was raised by a devoted single mother, Lori Franzve, a girl boss of sorts, who divorced her very rich husband, Kent Franzve, set out on her own for Arizona, where she girl bossed her way to the highest echelons of the military industrial complex, also known as the defense contracting industry. Well, guess what? Erica's little sob story about growing up the product of a broken home with a single mom who had to get out there every day to get her own bread, that's a lie too. Erica said that her parents divorced shortly after she was born in 1988. But we know that that's another lie, because it turns out that according to Kent and Lori Franzve's publicly available divorce documents, they entered into a separation agreement in 1996 and finalized their divorce in 1998 when Erica was around 10 years old. Unless she's also lying about her age, which wouldn't surprise us. And while one could make the argument that Erica's parents split up shortly after her birth and didn't make it legal until years down the road, we know that that wouldn't be true either, because in 1992, Erica's dad wrote a book called The Desktop Business Intelligence Source. And in the acknowledgments section of that book, he wrote this, quote, "A tremendous amount of appreciation goes out to my wife, Lori, without whose support this work would not have been possible." End quote. Again, that book was published in 1992. They sound pretty married to me. Because they were. And after they got divorced, Lori Franzve was hardly a single mother. When she moved to Arizona, Kent was already living there. The two of them shared custody of Erica. Court documents show us that Erica and Kent had regular visitations. He paid child support. He took care of his parental responsibilities. And on top of that, Erica is seen in family photographs with Kent's father, Ken, before his death in 2016. So she had relationships with her father's family. But you see, admitting all of that, it would ruin the narrative. Admitting any of that would disrupt her whole second-generation girl boss fairy tale, because it would stop her from lionizing her mother, Lori, as some kind of a superwoman who had to do life on her own. Just a single mom out here in the real world, chasing my dreams, doing my best, barely scraping by. It's all. And there's some other things that Erica has hidden about Lori as well, like her other daughter. Yeah. her other daughter. You see, according to their divorce decree, Lori and Kent Franceby shared 2 children. But from what we've been able to dig up here at the Stu Peters Show, it would appear that only one of those children, Erica, actually belonged to Kent, and the other child wasn't really a child at all. By the time Kent and Lori divorced, she was a fully grown woman because she was born in 1969. Her name is Tanya Segrest of Cincinnati, Ohio, where Lori and Erica and Kent lived before heading off to Arizona. And she has appeared in later years in multiple business filings made by Lori Franceby, including those related to her military defense contracts. So it's unclear who Tanya's biological father is. Maybe it's Kent, maybe it's someone else entirely, but Erica never talks about her. She's not included in any Franceby family documents that we've been able to find. So why does Erica never mention her big sister? And why was Tanya Segrest emancipated before the age of 18? What's really going on with this family? Who are these people? And why does Erica Kirk work so hard to obscure the details of who and where she comes from? You see, with Erica Kirk, it's just one lie, one omission, one inconsistency, to put it nicely, after another. And speaking of inconsistencies, whatever happened to that guy, George Zinn? Remember that guy? The crazed boomer who just moments after Charlie Kirk went down started jumping up and down, screaming something to the effect of, I did it. So, of course, naturally, he was promptly arrested, which caused his pants to fall down as he was escorted out of the event and into police custody, from which he has never left. Because after he was taken into custody, he volunteered to them that his phone was full of child porn. And now he's been memory holed. In all likelihood, we will never know for sure who in the hell George Zinn really was and what he was doing that day at Utah Valley University. Most people likely will probably forget that he ever existed in the first place, just as Erica Kirk would love for you to forget that she existed before she crossed paths with Charlie Kirk. Well, we're not going to forget. In fact, we have only just begun to dig into all of the information that we have at our disposal. And we are receiving more each and every day. Erica Kirk is a whole lot more than a grieving widow. And no matter how many times she lies, no matter how many times those around her lie, she can't escape what's coming. And what's coming is the truth.
All right. So that was the first video I wanted to show you guys. That was a pretty good clip from Stu about Erica's sister. She has talked about a sister in the past. So I don't think that was like super shocking, but yeah, she doesn't do a whole lot of talking about her family. As a matter of fact, you know, she didn't even take a family member with her to the hospital when all this happened with Charlie. So that's interesting. You know, that's concerning. That's not normal. You took Stacy Sheridan with you. That's who was videotaping her get on Air Force Two and Charlie's casket being there, so on and so forth. Why wouldn't you take your mother, your father, a cousin? She always talks about her TPUSA family and, you know, they're just everything for her. It's like, what about your friends that you've made throughout your life that maybe live in Arizona? Wouldn't you take someone with for that? You know, if you've lost your husband, wouldn't you want somebody that you're, I don't know. I mean, I would want my mother there. I would want my brothers there. I would want my family. I wouldn't want my employees there in a personal time like that, regardless of whether they're friends with Charlie or not. Work and personal are usually kept separate. So, yeah, it's very interesting. So there's a lot of weird stuff going on there. And so he just was talking about the sister, and, you know, I think it was interesting just to even go over the parents. I've talked about her parents several times in past videos, and it's all very weird, you know, that you wouldn't, I don't know, that you would just act like your dad really wasn't a huge part of your life, basically. I don't know what she's trying to do here, what image she's trying to paint. So it's just really weird. The sex sells baby video is so cringe. I can't even watch that. And then you see now why she was doing overtime to delete her past, because there's just too much footage, too many social media posts. Probably very disappointed the Wayback Machine exists. So yeah. So I want to go over that. The next thing I want to show is this clip. Here we go with something else that leaked. This is what happens when you fire your staff because you can't figure out who the mole is and you're paranoid. So then what you do is all these, if you've listened to certain employees that have come out and talked about being employed with TPUSA, they're all hired typically under a 1-year contract. So if you fire someone while they're under a contract, you're voiding the contract. And so they make people sign 10-year NDAs. So you just voided everyone's NDA. Hence why you're seeing all of these different people now coming out and talking, giving video footage, and not caring because they're acting on emotion and they are literally just doing whatever they want. I'm seeing you guys put 4 years. I have talked to people that have reached out to me that are employed there, and they have signed 1-year contracts. I have yet to find a person that has signed a 4-year. But yes, that is, I have had some whistleblowers myself that I've spoken to. So, I have not come across a 4-year just yet. Probably maybe different branches or different parts of the TPUSA umbrella maybe does 4 years. But I have heard 1 year. Oh, you're talking about 4 years of marriage. Yeah, they haven't been married that long. So, all right. So we're going to jump into, we're answering how long. Okay. I thought you guys were talking because I was talking about the, what do you call it? The NDAs. So I was like, oh, you guys are saying that 4-year non-disclosure agreements. I'm like, they're 10 years and people are contracted for a year of employment. And I was going over that part. So when I saw that, I was like, oh, I thought you guys were talking about that. Yeah, she has 2 children with him. Yes. My mom couldn't work for a year after my dad's. Yeah. I mean, my mom, after my dad passed away, she went back to work, but it was like months after. She took several months off. She took short-term disability. So yeah. We're having our own conversation as we listen to you. No problem. I just got to keep up with where you guys are at. So I'm like, I know what questions I'm answering and what I'm not. See, and then usually when you guys tag each other, I know like, oh, okay, you guys are responding to each other. So it's funny. Anywho. So, all right, we're going to also watch this clip that was released because this is really interesting. I just want to get to the place where, let me turn this off so that I can get this prepared for you guys at the right time frame, which I got it on the money that time. So that worked out. So there is a clip that was given of the amazing, intelligent, wonderful Mikey McCoy backstage behind at Amfest, rather. Sorry, guys, lost my words. And he is just talking about how this entire situation is God's plan. And Erica's standing at a coffee table and Mikey McCoy is just gushing over her. And it's like quite the scene to see. And just Charlie dying was meant to be. It was intentionally God being able to move Erica into the front so that she could carry on God's big plan, which is wild. So we're going to go ahead and watch that clip, and then we're going to talk about that, and then we'll go to another clip because there's just a lot of weird things that have hit the internet over the last, like I said, week, and stuff that just makes you cringe. So let's watch this.
Turning Point family, as she blitzed every camera on every stage that she could possibly get onto and made sure that everyone knew she was the new girl boss at TPUSA. We've actually obtained video footage of this happening. We have a clip here, and I'm going to play it in just a moment, of Erica Kirk and Mikey McCoy and all of their fellow Turning Point USA crime family members basically celebrating Charlie's death before Erica took the stage at AmFest. Mikey McCoy even says that Charlie's murder and Erica's takeover was God's will. Watch
I really
this.
led the staff meeting because Charlie had to fly back to Palm Beach with the president. And it's crazy to look back and you just kind of see the Lord kind of knitting his own beautiful image that sometimes we just don't always see. But we're blessed to be here for the second staff meeting at AmFest with you.
So that's what it looks like, apparently, to grieve differently. You elevate yourself by standing up on top of a coffee table while you laugh and you smile and you struggle to contain your excitement while all of your husband's so-called friends cheer you on and cheer themselves on. Do those look like people who just lost someone close to them in a shocking and unexpected public execution? Or do those look like people who just carried out a coup and got together for a celebration? I'm going with the latter.
So we're going to pause that for a minute. You know, this clip from AmFest was, you know, like I said earlier, at this point, we know they're bad people. We're not really finding out, we're not really getting anywhere as far as figuring out what happened to Charlie for sure and who is behind everything. It's, you know, kind of taking quite some time. And these other videos, it's like, can they get any worse? Like, once you're like such a bad person, like, is there anything else that you could show us that would be like that big of a deal? At this point, I kind of feel like it's just like, oh, like it doesn't even faze me anymore because there's like, oh, I already know that they're absolutely horrible people. There's nothing that they could do that would really absolutely shock me anymore, to be honest with you. And, you know, this just explains again why, you know, clearly they wanted to do this mass firing event at Turning Point because they can't figure out who's leaking information. They don't know who the mole is. So they figure, okay, we'll just, you know, can everybody. But what's funny about that, and what I was telling my husband and my mom is that you're firing all your staff. So are the higher ups going to do like all the, like, you know, because they basically treat everyone like a minion, right? Like they're the elite, you're the peasant. No one knows as good as they do. No one is as smart as them, so on and so forth. So who's going to do those? Who's going to do like the little people, according to them? Like that's what they basically insinuate. Who's going to do their jobs? Are all the higher ups going to do their jobs when they have to clean the entire company because they're afraid of who's leaking all this information? You know, it's just one of those things where you gotta laugh. You're like, did you guys? They didn't think this through at all. They did everything on emotion. They acted in rage, and then afterwards they try to do this like PR cleanup, and it's too late when you get caught in lies and all these different things. It's just wild to me. Invoking, you know, invoking the name of God for that kind of behavior is so disturbing to me, and I'm sure it is to most of us. It's just so wrong. It's next level evil. It's really becoming it's becoming very hard to watch. Like I get so disturbed just from watching these stupid clips because these people are truly next level embarrassing, honestly. So yeah. The fear of God is at low tide in this age. Yeah, I'm a God-fearing woman, so I would never be conducting myself like this. I'm not a perfect person. Obviously, I'm a sinner, but I would never be acting the way they are. Especially when you're at a certain level where, you know, dang well people are videotaping you or people are, you know, recording. Everyone has social media. I would, in the public eye, if I was not in the privacy of my own home, I certainly would not be going out and acting like this. Yeah, it's just, but there's a what is the word I'm looking for? I just think at this point, you have to believe, or at least I believe, this is just showing they don't care. I don't really think they care in some sense. I think that they care if they go to jail, but I don't think they care what our opinion is of them. Personal thoughts, you know. I don't know. So that's a whole nother thing. And we can go back to the beginning of this video. He does talk a little bit about a little bit about of things we already know that's going on in Turning Point, but it was like an interesting dive. For people asking, how do you listen to Stu Peters? You have to have X. He only posts his stuff on X, so I always go on X and watch him. So yeah. Hiring a PR firm is the definition of out of touch. Well, if they hired a PR firm, they need to fire them because they have done nothing for them as far as making them look better and prevented them from doing anything, you know what I mean? Anything less embarrassing. So I don't know. So yeah, it's like I said, you can't make this stuff up. It's just one of those things that by the day it gets worse. So no pregnant photos. There was a hospital video of her getting ultrasound, but apparently that was staged, faked. The sonogram has Erica. It's Fransby. It was not Kirk. Erica is expected. I'm pretty sure I have to like look through my phone, but I'm pretty sure that at one point I saw a picture, and I'm pretty sure I screenshot it. I think it was on Instagram of she had a C-section and they put the baby over her and Charlie was in it. I have to like look at it and see. Oh, a crisis PR team? I have no idea. So, you guys, for those of you that have been around a while, my mom was here. And so when my mom was here, I didn't get to listen to and keep up with everything. So then, you know, it was like I had to like try to get caught up, and I you know, it's hard to like watch everything. So I go to like certain people that I like to watch and get caught up on what I've missed and where I'm at. So I did the best I could. She's only been gone a couple days, and so we're just getting caught up with all the crazy major stuff that went on. I don't know how many of you guys, I'm sure most of you watched Candace's show where she shared the audios from the meetings with Erica Kirk. She shared the one Zoom video of Erica Kirk. I will be posting the other one up that I watched a portion of it and kind of gave my commentary on that. And they're both, I mean, it's just like she sounds the way she does when she speaks in public, just unbothered, happy. If this was God's plan, she's ready to take it on. It's not scary. It's not overwhelming. It's not sad. It's not anything. And, you know, if you grieve, you know, if you're a good Christian, you don't grieve, which is not true. The Bible talks about grief. Grief is normal. So it's just funny. So let's just jump back into this and listen to a couple more minutes of this interview in the beginning. And then we'll I'll pause it where I think that, you know, we can talk about some of these other talking points. And then we'll go from there.
And where I go, it's one big room. Today I showed up early, so I had to sit in one of 3 chairs by the front windows and wait my turn. I was at the coffee table next to the fake plant that collects dust, by the reception desk that nobody ever stands at. The only thing on the desk is a phone that also collects dust. Everybody pretends that they can't hear it. Nobody ever answers it. And of course, it's, you know, did you hear about this? Or did you hear about that? And of course, we're right down the streets from the Minneapolis riots. So the conversation goes to Donald Trump and mass deportations and federal agents and shootings and Charlie Kirk.
I got to get back to the...
And in that, out this annoying cowlick that always sticks up like Dennis the Menace, cutting the part in. I think it looks nice. And then it came. So,
oh, this is his barber story.
What do you think happened to Charlie Kirk? I mean, where do you begin? For the past 4+ months, we have discussed Charlie Kirk every single day, digging through and dissecting evidence that's associated with this crowdsourced investigation of the broad daylight, public live-streamed assassination of Charlie Kirk. And in that time, we have compiled a seemingly infinite number of questions, and we've received virtually no answers at all. So you have all of these questions that are just circling through your mind. You should be able to rattle off exactly what you think it is that happened to Charlie Kirk, but it seems like every single day we pull back layers of this onion and we find more disgusting, more blatant lies, more strange associations, more bizarre behavior. And we have questions about the days and the weeks and the months, the years before Charlie's death. Who are these people that were put in key positions right around Charlie Kirk at the top of Charlie's company, starting from the very beginning? Who is Tyler Boyer really? Who is Erica Fransky really? In the months leading up to his death, we've all seen the videos. Charlie was discussing this multifaceted occupation that we've been talking about here of our country, of our government, of our society, of our church. He was talking about this. He was talking about the occupation of academia, of our system of banking and finance. He was on his show. He was on video in other conversations, debating with other people, maybe even debating with himself about the Jewish donor class that was bullying him and about the pro-Israel cause that, in his own words, Charlie said that he was going to be forced to leave. Why are people pretending that none of that happened? It's on video. It's in text messages. Why are the people that were closest to Charlie Kirk rewriting the person that he was while he was alive? Why are these people who were the closest to him, his co-workers, his brothers in Christ, his most trusted executives, his wife, trying to ignore the fact that Charlie Kirk said that these people would kill him? We've all seen the now infamous tweet from Harrison Smith. Charlie Kirk said that if he ended up dead, Israel would be to blame. He told the people that were the closest to him as recently as the night before he was killed that he felt that he was going to die the next day at Utah Valley University. In the weeks leading up to Charlie's death, why did Mikey McCoy lead Charlie into an intervention at Bill Ackman's mansion in the Hamptons? And why did TPUSA originally deny the now proven fact that Benjamin Netanyahu phoned in personally to that intervention, offering over $100 million to Charlie Kirk, which Charlie rejected? In the days leading up to Charlie Kirk's death, why was Erica Kirk seen on Fort Huachuca with Cabot Phillips in the lobby of the Candlewood Inn and Suites? Why was Brian Harpole on that same base the next day seen leaving a meeting with military brass and a United States congressman? Why did Erica Kirk provide an alibi for the 8th using a picture from the 9th? Why did the picture include fake kids or somebody else's kids altogether? They certainly weren't Charlie's kids. They were the wrong age. Why is Fort Huachuca tied into Erica's past, interweaving all the way back to when she was just a toddler? And yet everyone at Turning Point is freaking out about Mitch Snow's first-person account of what he saw when he was where he was on the days he was there. It's all just bizarre. And one would think that when Erica's mom moved to Arizona specifically for the purpose of being in close proximity to Fort Huachuca, that it would be easy to explain that that base was a part of who she was. She was on and off of that base for her entire childhood. She starred in a movie that was filmed on that base where she played the role of an assassin on a rooftop with a rifle. The base was so familiar to Erica Kirk that she was briefing the CIA on EMP technology, which is tested on Fort Huachuca. So why not just say yes? Of course.
And I've said this a bunch of times. I've said, with Erica and, her mom, why not just come out and say, hey, my mom works on base. I was bringing her lunch. My mom works on base. They said before this that Charlie was getting threats. And remember, they had a priest come to pray over him. He'd been getting death threats. They had, some witch that was like doing spells. And so she had the priest come over to pray with them. And so why wouldn't you just say, oh, I went to the base and we were putting together a security plan because Charlie was paranoid because of all the death threats and this lady who was like allegedly putting spells on, you know what I mean? I'm just saying there's a lot of logical excuses that she could have come up with that she could have just said, yeah, I was there. What's the big deal? Same thing with Brian Harpole. Oh, well, Charlie had concerns, so we were putting together a security plan. Instead they tried to, fake alibis, get caught in the faking of them. And then after that, it's like no matter what you provide people, no one's going to believe what you turned over because you've gotten caught providing your alibi to some YouTuber instead of why wouldn't you just give it to Candace Owens? You know, you had this 4-hour sit down with Candace in which, you know, we've heard from Candace that she was fed a bunch of crap. So why wouldn't you just give it to Candace? Why would you give it to Andrew, to give to Gary, yeah, I mean, and Gregory, welcome in. I'm glad you're here. Yeah, I agree with, you know, they've never learned to just tell the truth. When you lie, you have to lie, then you have to create another lie to go over that lie, and then another lie. And if you can't keep track of all of your lies, then you're shooting yourself in the foot. And it just doesn't make any sense. Is Colvette jumping ship? I do not believe so, but I do think that in a lot of ways, I think they're setting him up to really make him a fall person. It seems that, you know, we've seen this with Erica where it's like, oh, well, we didn't know he was going to post on, you know, X about speaking with the doctor. Well, the doctor's not going to violate HEPA without your consent to give that information out. So, you know what I mean? You know, oh, well, we didn't know he was going to do that. Then it was like, you know, then he comes out and he says, oh, well, I didn't get permission. But then originally he said he had permission. It's like every time you turn around, the story changes. The truth doesn't have versions. And so, yeah, I you would think that if this had been in the works, which I think at this point we can all probably agree that this was thought out for quite some time. They were infiltrating TPUSA for years. And why wouldn't you think all this through? You wouldn't have a meeting and a powwow and be like, hey, guys, we're going to try to commit this like crazy plan. Like we all need to have the same story and practice and like rehearse. There's like no dress rehearsal for all of these lies and all this crazy stuff. That's crazy. So yeah, I mean, it's, you have to laugh at it because I'm pretty sure a child, like a toddler, could lie better and come up with a better story than what we've seen here. So that's interesting. Dog Nose, thank you so much for the super chat. Do we have info on which spell and priest? So I do not believe that they divulged who either one of those were. To my knowledge. I did hear something about Etsy. Someone wrote in the chat, Be More Colorful did say Etsy. I think that's where that witch lady was from. And the priest was their priest. So I don't know who that priest is, though. Erica never named those. But thank you, Dog Nose, for the super chat. I appreciate that. Need to keep an eye on Stacey Sheridan. She's lurking behind the scenes, directing Erica and targeting the wealthy for donations. So I have not liked Stacey Sheridan from the beginning. She was brought in through Tyler Boyer. And she talked about that. You know, she's talked about how she got involved with the Kirks. And if you guys watch the memorial, she did her whole little speech. And I didn't like the speech. The speech didn't sit well with me. And so I was talking to Kristen, you know, a while ago, and I was like, I think we should dig it, behind Stacey's background. I don't feel good about it. And I'll be honest, we didn't find anything from what we saw, as far as like, if she was, had any kind of, felonies, things like that. She had worked in nonprofits before. She was an attorney, all legitimate jobs. None of the places looked weird. So, we just stopped digging because in this kind of situation, when you're doing a lot of digging, you spend a lot of time digging and you can go down, a rabbit hole and it leads nowhere. You can get a lead and run this lead down and then turns out like you've spent, 4 days digging into something that's going nowhere. And I think a lot of people don't realize how much time content creation takes, especially when you're trying to do your own research and put things together. it's easy to spend 12 hours a day at this desk researching. And so sometimes it's, you just have to, you can't do that every day. I have, other things that I have to do as well. So I've had to pull back on that a little bit just because life was happening, my health, certain things like that. So it is a lot to try to do the research. But when we looked, Stacey Sheridan, there was nothing that we could see that would make us really spend a ton of time there. So we didn't. But I think where Stacey Sheridan now, I think where people are finding things is, I'm pretty sure it's like the financials. There's somewhere where they've been digging in the financials that had something like that. Tyler Boyer hired handlers. Yeah, he basically brought in everyone that's at TPUSA. He brought in a lot of people there, and did a lot of the introductions. Yes. Candace also said she sensed bad vibes about Stacey Sheridan. Yeah, her speech for the memorial, I just I didn't like it. It didn't sit well with me. I was like, that's weird. Yeah. Who's the worst actress, Erica Kirk or Amber Heard? I would have to say Erica Kirk personally. Amber Heard at least sort of attempted. Let's see. There was someone saying her mom wasn't on base. She was at the hospital. No. That's Erica's story. But what I'm saying is her mom has contracts with that base. So she could have just said, yeah, I was there doing something for my mom. I was picking something up for my mom. I personally don't believe that her mom is sick. That's my personal belief. If she was sick, she used that as, oh, my mom was getting a treatment the day of everything happening at UVU. That's where I was. I was at this treatment thing with my mom. I never heard that she was hospitalized. I heard that she was getting some kind of treatment or she was at the doctor's office or was something along those lines. Again, where is the footage of you walking in and out of this treatment center? She never has literally talked about her mom being sick. There's typically if your mom has cancer or anybody that I know where their parent has been sick, it's something that they talk about or they post about on their Instagram or something along those lines. And she seems to post on her Instagram often. So she just wouldn't mention her sick mom. She posted her dead husband's hands. You don't think she would be like, oh my gosh, sympathy card, my mommy's sick. Come on now. I find that to be weird. She was getting an IV refresh after a night of drinking. Lord only knows. I have to go watch Stacey's memorial speech now. I don't remember it. Yeah, I could try to pull it up too. But yeah, I just, the whole story of their house fire, and she's like, so, I had to, I moved in with Charlie and Erica, and now that Charlie died, I understand why God did all this, because I was meant to live with Erica so that I could be with her and the kids after this whole thing with Charlie. This was designed for this. This is why it happened. What kind of freaking speech is that? Mind you, the memorial was pretty close to when Charlie passed away. They did everything really fast. So where were all the tears? What kind of speech was that? I was just it was just crazy. I don't know. I'm emotionally exhausted and embarrassed to be Jewish. I mean, I wouldn't be embarrassed to be Jewish, but I get the emotional exhaustion because I think we're all there. A lot of us are. Designed by who? She was saying that basically God, is, all this stuff happened with her husband so that her and her daughter would end up living with the Kirks. And then she would be there when Charlie died to support Erica and the kids. It was really bizarre. It was just it's just bizarre. It's just not something I don't think anyone would say. If it's a memorial speech, it's supposed to be about the person. Why would you be telling your personal story of why you live there, how you got involved with them? Again, we're God did this. It's like a Mikey McCoy situation. This was meant for, God did this so that you could lead. It was meant for you to be in place and you to live out Charlie's whatever. And, it's just bizarre things that people don't say. It's weird. So, so EK can't stay home with her kids or her sick mom. Apparently not, as we're seeing. Everything was expedited. The memorial, funeral, crime scene cleanup, CEO transfer. Yes, it all was. Yeah. So Susan, Stacy moved in with Erica and Charlie. Yes. Yes. If you go back and listen to how they met and how that all came about. Very interesting. So we'll continue with this, but basically, everything that Stu's saying, he makes a lot of good points. He's saying a lot of things that I've said in previous videos. Him and I have basically very similar, if not the same opinions. Um, you know, just everything. Erica's fake alibis, getting caught up in all these lies. Nothing about her behavior and how she's handling herself is normal. It's, as a Christian, we're not called to be perfect, but we are supposed to go into the world and be good examples of a Christian. And these people are the furthest thing from it. And weaponizing religion is a no-no. And that's a hard no for me. And that's what makes this even more disturbing. And it just feels like it's very draining and demonic and all these different things. So, yeah. Stacy's husband passed away. Let's see. Not saying this means anything, but Candace said that Erica looked really upset when talking about her mom. Yeah, I mean, and I believe she probably did, but I mean, I don't know. But she wasn't upset when she talked about her husband, and maybe, you could, I don't know, if I think about something happening to one of my parents, I mean, and I went through it with my dad passing away. So, some people can muster up a couple tears or muster up maybe she put some, what did they say people use in their eyes to make them cry? I forgot what they use. Maybe she put something in there beforehand. I don't know. I couldn't watch the memorial, made me sick. I watched the whole thing. It was long, very long. Let's see, why Charlie's parents didn't speak in the best on bigger events in our time. I'm sure his parents were told that they shouldn't speak. They were probably threatened. I'm sure all of that. It'll hurt the case, all kinds of different things. At the Medal of Freedom, you can clearly see in the front, they're not, hugging Erica. They're not you can tell that they're not chummy with Erica. That was my personal opinion. Menthol drops, that's what it is. So that was just my personal opinion. Did you look into Stacy's husband? He's dead. He died. So Erica waits an hour for Andrew to arrive at the airport, but then enters a separate entrance to the hospital. I can't make sense of that. Gregory, all of that was weird. I thought it was super weird that she would even wait on the tarmac. The whole thing about Andrew Colvette falling into Erica's arms, but he didn't fall into his wife's arms. That's weird. What is going on? Yeah, there's a lot of concerning, interesting things that we learned. I believe he had cancer, if I'm not mistaken. Let's see. EK gives off Twilight Zone vibes. She's got, I don't know what kind of vibes I want to say. She's just, at this point, I just feel like all of this is and I've said this before in previous podcasts, and it's not to say that this isn't important, but it is a big distraction from staying in prayer and focusing on, our own lives and our families and things. It gets very distracting. And so that's why I've even talked about it's okay, guys, to take a break. It's okay to not look at this stuff or look at a different case or different news. We can't bring Charlie back, but we do need to stay focused on our own health, our families, things that actually, I want to say that this doesn't matter, but your life matters. You matter. Your own personal, self-care matters. So it's important to be able to, separate several things, take a break. Your family comes first, you come first. Do you trust Charlie when so many around him are sus? I personally don't think Charlie knew until the very end. I could be wrong. That's my personal opinion. At this point, again, I don't want to say it doesn't matter, but I just pray about it. I give it to God. It's going to be whatever his plan is. And I leave it at that. I can only do what I can do. So I spread the information that I find out. I try to do my own independent research. And I try to be a positive person and do positive things and spread kindness and respect people and all those things. But I don't know what's going to happen, guys. We may never get justice in this life. That may come in, and later on. And I'm okay with that because the wrath of God is the worst punishment. There's nothing that we can do to anybody here that would be worse than, burning in hell. So I want to get justice, but that's not up to me. I can do my best. So I just try to kind of think of it that way, right? And the why so many lies, I don't know. I still have major questions. How high did the corruption go? Right? I think that's a question everyone wants to ask. And who made the decision to eliminate Charlie? I mean, somebody made that decision. Who was the deciding factor? Who was the person that got to make that call? I'm curious to figure all that out. I don't know how that's going to all pan out, if we'll ever really know the truth. We'll listen to a couple more minutes of Stu, and then we will catch up on some of this other stuff.
I was there. I'm on Fort Huachuca all the time. I was bringing my mother a sandwich. I was visiting old friends. I was gathering materials to brief these intel agencies again. But no, we're going to pretend like there is no Fort Huachuca, like we have no idea what a Fort Huachuca even is. Andrew Kovitz out here making jokes about some fort. How do you spell that? What's a fort? What kind of fort? I mean, it's all just dishonest. And the lies just haven't stopped since the second that Charlie hit the ground. So we have a lot of questions. We have questions about the nonprofit Romanian Angels founded by Erica Fransby when she was 17. She was a child heading up an organization that dealt with orphans in one of the world's most notorious hotbeds for child sex trafficking. Why does Tyler Boyer have his own connections to Eastern European orphanages in Ukraine? Who are these people? Why are we hearing stories about how Erica's mom, Lori, divorced her father, Kent, when she was just a toddler, and then went on?
So I showed you guys this portion of the clip first, and he already went through that. I just want to listen to the first couple minutes. But yeah, we've heard it all at this point. We've seen it all. We've seen and heard so many excuses. We've watched the lies come right out of people's mouths. I don't know where we go from here. We'll see. There could be stuff going on in the background. I don't know. That's way obviously above me. But there's a lot of questions to be asked regarding all of this. And so it is concerning. And there's a lot of things that are now coming out because Turning Point has let go of their staff. And I think we're going to continue to see video footage and information come out because they have voided contracts now of staff and people have no reason to hold back anymore. I also think it's interesting that they are on a hiring spree now, which I guess when you fire a majority of your staff, of course you have to hire, right? So they are doing that. And of course, I'm sure they're targeting, again, like they were in many positions, young people because they are easily manipulated, naive, all the things we are when we're, between 18 to, even your mid 20s. I can honestly say that at that time I wasn't like, you know what I mean? I didn't have it all figured out. I don't know. It's crazy because I think about my parents. My mom and dad got married at, 18 or 19, and then they had me at 20. And I'm like at 18, 19 years old, like I just can't even imagine like getting married. I can't imagine being a mom at 20. I don't know. So it's wild to think about. Um, Candace also, I thought it was interesting this, the last couple weeks, she's talked about how Charlie was very, obviously smart. We all know that, and very gifted, and he went to a gifted school. And, um, it just really seems like as the information has come out from that, Charlie was being watched for a long time. It was very intentional to approach him about starting up Turning Point. They saw potential in him. And I really believe that they kind of could predict the influence that Charlie could and would have one day. And so when you don't have influence and your audience isn't large enough, okay, these corrupt and dangerous people let you talk and say whatever you want because you're not influencing people yet, right? You don't have the pull yet. You don't have the sway. You don't have the ability to change people's minds, right? So like, for instance, like I'm a small YouTube channel. So I am getting censored to where, my lives, the alerts are turned off. I'm getting things about people are saying, oh, I was unsubscribed for like the third time. I'm seeing a lot of that. My videos are not getting pushed out like they used to. And so, we're seeing censorship. But what I'm saying is that when you get into Charlie Kirk numbers, where you're talking about millions and millions of people following you, millions and millions of people listening to you, then it matters because you're dangerous at that point. You are able to influence people. People are listening to you, and you are changing how people think. You are getting people to get involved. You have pull, you have sway. And so that's what gets you noticed by these corrupt, powerful people because your message is a problem. The messaging matters. And so, that's really what happened, especially when it comes to the youth. We hear about Turning Point is now thinking of expanding into not even colleges. We're talking about high schools, junior highs. That is crazy. And I mean, it makes sense. Like I said, you got to think about when we were all young, what did we, you know what I mean? I was naive. I used to think no one was ever going to do anything bad to me. My friends were my friends. No one would ever, you're in this naive state of no one would ever, I don't even know. My one of my girlfriends would never date my ex-boyfriend. And then you learn that people do what people do. And it's just, I always say old and wise and then young and dumb, right? Those are sayings for a reason. And I always joke about this too in a lot of my videos that like all these sayings that are very basic that you're told when you're young, don't be a follower, be a leader. You are who you hang with. Those kinds of things, they ring so true through life. And those are the things that when your parents told you, you eye rolled and you were like, whatever, I don't want to hear it. And then you realize later on in life, like, oh, okay, like this is why my parents told me these things, or this is why my grandma gave me this advice. And it makes a lot of sense. So it really comes back to very simple things. My mom and dad used to say, you are who you hang with. Whether you actually are or not, it doesn't matter. The perception is if you're hanging out with troubled kids, you're going to be considered trouble. And that goes for everything in life. My husband is an extension of me. He is, how he acts and conducts himself does affect me and vice versa. And so, that matters is what I'm saying. And so it all comes back to these like very simple things, that you're told when you grow up, as you're growing up rather. And I think Charlie had a way with the youth. That was very apparent. He was obviously considered dangerous. They needed to control him. They needed to control his message. It was going to mess up their future agendas and narratives that they needed to control and have a certain way. And this was the only way to do that, apparently. There was no other way to do that. They did this little intervention meeting. They tried. His answer was no. And so it was like, okay. But it's also, I've said this from day one too. This is like getting out of the mob. You don't get out of the mob alive. It's just not a thing. It's the same thing, in my opinion, as like getting out of a gang. It doesn't happen. So it's unfortunate. And I do think Charlie was finding out towards the end what was really going on. I think he was trying. That's why you see with these memos, he was trying to change things and make a difference and gets the ship turned around a little bit. But at that point, it was too late. And so it is really unfortunate. It's really sad. I think he knew it was coming. I know they say that they knew it was going to happen at UVU. How true that is, I don't know, but I think he knew it was coming eventually. If that is why this is acting up or what, but sorry if it does like black out or pause. Like I said, Florida does not get this cold, so we are it's very windy out there. And so I think it's messing with everything, and the internet's just not been great. There's been a lot of like outages and all kinds of stuff going on. Marty, thank you for the super chat. Candace talked a lot yesterday about Stacy Sheridan being at the Catholic Mass the day after the memorial. She was targeting a rich Catholic. Yes, I did hear about that and see that. Yeah, she brings in a lot of the donors along with Tyler Boyer, and it makes sense why Tyler brought her into the fold. I'm not, like I said, Stacy Sheridan, I was not a fan of for a while, so it's not surprising that it turns out that she had something to do with, bringing donors in and sniffing out money. She was brought in by Tyler Boyer, who brought all these people into TPUSA, a lot of the staff who, again, was at this Hamptons meeting. I believe he was at the Hamptons meeting. It's just, we learned Erica was probably at the Hamptons meeting. That's what Candace is saying. Obviously, all alleged here. I'm just going to be like allegedly, because clearly we like to send out legal letters. So just covering my behind. Yeah. First time watching you live. Thank you so much. Welcome. I haven't done a live in so long, you guys. And I'm sorry for that. It was crazy. My mom was here for 5 days. I'm having a really bad lupus episode right now. And so that's been challenging. And then the weather for, I think, most of us is just horrid. So that's not helping. So yeah. But I hope that you guys also do like the other content that I post about true crime stories and different things, because at the end of the day, there are so many other things going on. I truly love true crime, and there's weird stuff everywhere. So yeah, hopefully we will be going through stuff. So let's see. So Charlie discovered fraud and started moving away from so he did move people around. It was discussed early on, actually, that he moved Tyler Boyer over, I think, to, was it Turning Point Packer Action he moved him over to, I think. And then he changed his title. And then he also took away the title from Mikey, but then after Charlie was killed, Erica put Mikey back in that position. And then I think from all the backlash of everything, that's when they started removing people off of the TPUSA website, because nothing was landing with everybody. and that wasn't going over well. So yeah, it was action. So yeah, it was like a whole thing. So yeah, glad you got to visit with your mom. Thank you. Yeah, I don't get to see my family only but a couple times a year, so I definitely wanted to take the time with her. After losing my dad randomly a couple years ago, especially after that, it's just I mean, I was already a present person to begin with. Like if I'm with family and friends, I put my phone away. It drives some people crazy in case they want to get a hold of me, but I truly believe it is so important to be present. Um, I know it's corny, but that's why they call it the present, right? And so I really try to take that time away and give my attention to my family and my loved ones. I think that that's important, and you have to fill your cup up. You can't just be constantly, running on E. And so the time with my friends and my family for me really is, it just sets me up for success. And I don't know. I love time with my family and my friends. So yeah. I'm sorry about your dad. I get it. Yeah. And my mom is struggling. My dad passed away at 60. For those of you that are new here, he died of a heart attack, just randomly had his first heart attack. And unfortunately, we didn't get a redo. We didn't get a surgery. And my dad was only 60 years old. My mom, when my dad passed, was 57, going on 58. So she's young, and she's been with my dad since she was 16 years old. And so her whole life was my dad and her kids. And it's not been easy for her. And so I worry about her. And, when she's here, I'm her only daughter. So, she likes to get out and do things together. And she's my priority. My brothers are my priority. So I just try to really be present with that. So yeah. Stu is I don't think he's on Rumble. I think he's just on X from what I know. You truth tellers got him panicking. Simply beautiful. Yes. I don't know why my channel specifically is getting it's really sad. And unfortunately, like I've done a lot of members only videos, and I'm doing memberships because of the censorship and stuff. So it's just better to, and I know a lot of people have seen a lot of channels start memberships, but that's a big part of it too. Oh, okay. Trigger Smart said he is in Rumble. Yeah, I always watch him on X. So I wouldn't know. I mean, I post on Rumble because I'm trying to get that built up so that if something were to happen to my YouTube, we could just like move over there. But I have not like I don't particularly use Rumble very much at all. So yeah. And yeah, so we'll get there. We will get there. I love Charlie. It breaks me to think that. Yeah, it's sad. The whole situation is sad. It's just not a good situation all the way around. It's devastating blow when you lose someone you've been with so long. Yeah, watching my mom go through that was, I mean, it's been hard. It's all she knows. Like I can't even imagine like they started dating at 16. It's her whole life, and it's sad because in her eyes, like it's like her life is over. So it's just she knows it's not. She has her kids, but like, it's that's who she did everything with, So yeah. So we will see. Hi, Nicole. Sorry about the Bears. Please feel free to become a temporary Patriots fan. Yeah, the last game was horrible. clearly the refs, there was lots of issues. Yeah, I was really pissed. So that didn't help probably for a couple days of, staying off the internet because I was really mad. I won't be watching the Super Bowl, not because of the Bears not going. I do not personally like the whole choice with the halftime, and there's so many other things that I could do with my time. So I won't be watching that. Will your mom go to church with you? Only place to find hope, church. And yeah, so she does church in Chicago where she lives. She does not go to church here because she doesn't live here. And when she's here, she was here over this past Sunday, so we just didn't go to church. White horse in the background gives me yeah, I just like the statue. My room is very like romantic, like moody vibes. I like it. I like horses. I actually have a really pretty horse picture in one of my hallways. So I'm a fan of horses. Yeah, it's a Home Goods find. You guys can probably still find it at Home Goods. I got it not that long ago. But I love horses. I won't be watching TPUSA's halftime show either. Me neither. I definitely won't be watching that one. So yeah. But yeah, Home Goods find. I love Home Goods. I could go on and on about Home Goods. So I'm trying to think if there's anything else that we could talk about. I mean, I know a lot happened over the last couple weeks. Peaky Blinder, yes, I'm a Bears fan. I'm born and raised in Chicago. So definitely a Bears fan. Is it heavy? It looks like it. It's actually not as bad as you think. It's like deceiving, but it's not light. It's just not heavy. What is the amazing Mikey McCoy shows up? Well, the amazing Mikey McCoy didn't go anywhere. I just think they're kind of hiding him, and I think that they're doing that to save face in a sense, because I think that with Mikey, it's him walking away, guys, like that really did him in. It wasn't helpful. So I'm pretty sure that that's why they've kept him in the background. I think that that's why they took him. Who else was off of the website? Like, it wasn't just Dan Flood, it was him. We saw even Andrew Colvette's not. There's just so many people that went missing from the Turning Point website. And I think it was to try to take them out of the public eye a little bit, to try to like do damage control. The problem is that no one's forgetting any of that. And so, but then you see these videos like what we just watched earlier, that leaked video. Mikey's as happy as could be. He's like cheering Erica on. He's like gushing over her. She's just amazing. This is just like God's plan in the making. It's just gross, and then you see why they put him in the back and said like, stay back there. But then the replacement, Mr. Cabot Phillips, well, let's just create this like cheap version of Charlie Kirk. I joked around. I'm like, it's like having like a knockoff handbag. That's what Cabot reminds me of. And they dressed him up. They're trying to dress him like Charlie Kirk. They're trying to get him to carry himself like Charlie Kirk. He's not even close to what Charlie was. Intellect wise, nothing. So that was weird. It's all weird. And I really think that they were probably going to put Mikey more in the front face role, and then the public rejected that, and then so they had to bring Cabot in, and then that didn't go over well either. So it's all weird. Trigger Smart, thank you for the super chat. Keep going. A lot of channels, including mine, are getting throttled. People get unsubbed by YouTube as well. Stay strong. Thank you so much, Matt. I appreciate that. Yeah, I'm really disappointed in what's going on because, like I said, content creation, it takes up a lot of time. I love it. I'm going to continue to do it, and I will keep going. But it's crazy in the beginning what my views were, and my channel did get pushed out. And it's like the more you talk about truth, the more you bring up certain things, you get punished in that way. And so I probably, I don't know. I mean, starting out my channel straight out the gate in truth telling, probably maybe I should have like skewed certain topics like and spread it out instead of going right out the gate pretty hard with corruption. But it's okay. I don't regret it. I just think that we're just going to have to keep pushing, and it's going to take time, and hopefully the censorship won't get worse. But I think we're experiencing a lot of that. There's a lot of bigger channels that I feel like aren't getting tanked the way I am. Like there's a lot of people who have really large followings, and no matter what, their stuff gets pushed out. And then I'll talk about the same, like basically the same stuff, like same topic or whatever, but my stuff goes nowhere when it was getting pushed. It's weird. I don't know. It's like certain people are getting promoted more than others. It's weird. There's something weird there. Marty, NFL is fake. Yeah, I believe that too. I was actually going to do a video on that. Because who was it? The one player that came out and did a video saying that he got like a letter in the beginning of the season saying that they were only going to win 8 games or something, and he was so mad, so he went out and did a video. I don't know where he posted the video. I don't remember. I have to go back and find this. And they made him take it down. So, I mean, we've all kind of known, and they've said like, oh, entertainment. But still, you know, it's frustrating. There was a picture, I'm going to find it. I'll do a video on this. And they showed you who was going to be the final 4 teams going into the Super Bowl. So we all kind of knew, and they released that like way before the games even were going on. So it's pretty clear, you know, like it was kind of scripted, but I don't know. It sucks. Football's such a good game. I love hockey too, actually. Those are the only 2 sports I watch, basically. So let's see. A lot of people are talking about halftime shows. I'm not going to watch either one of them. So we'll see. Oh, thank you, Matt. Everyone, make sure you're still subbed to Patriotic. Yeah. I can't believe how many people are telling me like that they keep getting unsubscribed. I have people that are messaging me saying like it's like the 3rd, 4th time. But my total followers hasn't really gone down. It's still going up. It's not like it was. And like I said, my videos, they just don't get pushed out at all. It's a stark difference. Big difference. I mean, most of my videos were getting like anywhere between 60,000 and up views, and now it's like 5,000 no matter what I talk about. I could talk about Charlie, I could talk about the weather, I could talk about the Brianna Aguilar case that I'm going to be really deep diving into because I'm super passionate about that case, and I just think there's something weird there. But yeah, it just doesn't matter what I talk about. It's just always, it's getting bogged down. So it sucks. Love your channel. I know this is crazy, but have you ever looked into, let's see, tick-borne illness? Highly suggest. I've been tested for everything, guys. I have lupus and fibromyalgia, and my lupus actually does really good. I'm a very healthy eater. I take very good care of myself. So, but rainy days are just not your best friend. And so it is rainy outside and it's damp. This is Florida. And so the weather is just not, it's just not working with my body. I'm also just tired from like being out with my mom and running around and, all that stuff. Before that, I was finishing up house fire stuff. So I think I just kind of probably ran myself into the ground a little bit, but I'm so happy to be back on lives with you guys because I really miss the interaction. I love being able to talk with you guys and go over stuff and just see where we're all at. I know like most people started following me for the Charlie Kirk stuff, but that's not going to last forever. So hopefully you guys will stick with me and we'll continue to go over, all kinds of different stuff. Stress triggers it too. Yeah, stress is a huge problem with autoimmune. So, Peaky Blinders, I hyped you every chance I get. I hope it helps. Thank you so much. I do see that, and I think that that's awesome that you do that. I really appreciate that. Have a good night, Matt. I hope you get some rest. And if you guys don't follow Trigger Smart, I think most of you guys do. You should follow his page. He does great work. I've watched a ton. Well, I watch him all the time. Keep doing the crime stories, please. Oh, I will. I love true crime. Love, 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 love. Oh, Peaky Blinders, thank you for gifting 5 Patriotic Housewife memberships. That was really sweet of you. Thank you. Are you MAGA? I voted for Trump all 3 times. I'm not thrilled with what's going on right now. But yeah, I did vote for him. It happens every time a software update happens. Really, Sammy? Well, then how do you fix it, though? Does it fix itself? I don't know. But it's weird, though, because other channels that cover the same things that I do, and I feel like I actually have done a really good job of trying to like be careful about how I say things, or you know what I mean? Like I still talk about things, and I actually do say words that I'm probably really not supposed to. But it seems like there's a lot of channels that, you know, have larger followings that they can say those things, and it's like no big deal. So it's just weird. I don't know what it is. It's like just been really odd. Gregory, Patriot Housewife, do you ever go back and look at true crime cases a few years old? Yes, I do. So in my one membership, the blue tier, I have 2 cases that I talked about, Micah Miller and also the Jennifer Cassie, which is still not solved. That happened out of Orlando, Florida. That case is just really bizarre, really crazy. But yes, I do talk about ones that are, you know, a few years old. I talk about cases that are even older than that. I have been putting more stuff together on cases that I just really was interested in or really liked. And so those will be getting posted as well. I've been trying to like write scripts in my spare time lately so that I can just sit down and have a day where I just record a bunch of those and put those in the membership areas. I do have 3 different membership tiers now. So it's just nice if people can't afford to support the channel. If they do want to support the channel, you know, there's different levels where you could see different types of content and things like that. So I know that we are not in a time where it's like, you know, financially easy for everyone to be able to support channels that they like, but even just sharing and commenting and liking videos and sharing the channel, you know. How do we become a member? I think you just can go onto my the link in bio, I think, or when you go to my page where it says like video shorts and you can find all that stuff. I think you hit become a member somewhere in there. But I totally understand. I mean, it's not an easy time right now. So even just like liking the videos and spreading the word about the channel is super helpful. And I appreciate all you guys. So let's see. I'm going to go back through the comments. In Cocoa Beach right now, and at 12 it'll be 26 degrees. People are freaking out. Yeah. 60 degrees in Florida. People are in like full out like big jackets and mittens because with the wind off the water it gets like really cold. So yeah. Everyone needs to check their notifications after the updates because they turn off or get personalized. That's good to know. Let's see. Tiffany, you didn't miss the stream. The stream's still going. Watched your au pair take. I swear the au pair lady got that dude wrapped around her finger crazy about the plot twist, and I do not feel bad at all about Banfield. I do not either. That was wild. That case is so disturbing. first off, like their whole story of how they were going to try to get away with that was they didn't think that through at all. I don't know where they thought that was going, but I'm telling you right now, I stand behind the statement of like, I wish I was a fly on the wall when he found out that that was their star witness. He probably never saw that coming by a long shot, you know? Peaky Blinders. Okay, you're talking to someone else. Okay. Did you see where Megyn Kelly interviewed a well-known author who said there's evidence to support that there were 2 killers in the Idaho 4 house? I do not watch Megyn Kelly, but I did see other YouTubers that I watched talking about this, and it's interesting with Idaho 4 because I don't know what to think. Brian Koberger is a nutcase, right? So, but with all the stabbing and everything that went on, I wonder if it's possible for one person to do all that in the allotted time. It wouldn't. I always thought it was weird that they did not run the other DNA. That always didn't sit well with me. So, I don't know. That's weird. Yeah. So sorry, I'm trying to read through the comments, guys. Yeah, it's that whole thing was just so crazy. Do you know of Grizzly True Crime? Gisela runs it. I do not. Not familiar with that. I didn't trust that case of the Idaho 4 from day one. Yeah, a lot of people were really crazy in the beginning with Idaho 4 because they said that Brian Kober, they're like, oh, he's being framed. And I'm like, I don't think he was framed. I think he actually, I mean, he's weird. I think he definitely did it. But I would not be surprised if he had help. That would make sense. Everything that went on there, to me, it would make sense. There's 2 people in that short amount of time. But we also saw the Ring doorbell camera footage where it's like just his car, unless they drove together. There was a lot of weird things about the Idaho 4 case. A lot of things. And then the school bought the house and they tore it down. And then the jury wasn't even going to be able to go there, which is a whole nother thing. They didn't test the other DNA that they found. That's weird. And it was on like another part of the, the knife sheath. And then I think there was DNA, they said, that was male DNA as well on the handrail and other parts of the house that they never tested against, which was weird. So, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if there's 2 people involved. Also, when he was arrested, he asked, like, have you arrested anyone else? Well, why would he ask that? That's weird. That was like I think it was the first thing he said. So, thank you, Hope, for becoming a member of the channel. I appreciate that so much. You are doing God's work, and we are blessed to be able to connect with each other and you. Grateful for you. I'm grateful for you, Tiffany. Thank you so much for that. Howard Blurn, the officers tried to paint a narrative, and with everything coming out now, everyone is finding out the truth, and lots of shady stuff happened. Yeah, there's a lot of weird stuff that has gone on with several cases. Idaho, I believe that, Brian Koberger was involved. I mean, the guy was wearing, he was wearing like surgical gloves, like taking his trash out and picking through his trash. And so it's just not how an innocent person acts. And, I don't know. It's just I don't know. He was weird. And then all the reports of people coming forward saying he weirded them out. He was aggressive with them. He like followed people to their cars. I mean, I don't believe he's innocent, but if there was a second person, probably very likely. If there is a second person, we hopefully eventually find out who that is, because a lot of people said the other day, oh, well, why do we care? Like, the killer's in jail, blah, blah, blah. Like, why do we care? Move on. Like, I don't want to talk about this case anymore. It's like, well, you have a second killer on the street then. Why wouldn't you care? It's weird. You also have to wonder who did all the cleanup, even if the killer or killers wore those shoe covers. There would still be blood tracks from that. Greg, yeah, you're right. There was nothing behind the house. So Well, didn't they say when he walked past Dylan's room that she was like, "Oh, he looked at me." Well, I wonder if he like actually like looked at her and noticed that she was in the doorway, because I always thought it was bizarre. Why did she get to live? But then remember, they talk about his snowy vision. So it's like, oh, did his visual snow? Did he not like see her? Or was he just like, I have to get out of here before the police come, and so I got to go and I'm just going to leave her? I don't know. I always thought that was very weird. But who knows? But I agree. And she said he was carrying something. So I was curious, like in trial, what he was carrying, if we ever were going to find out what that was. So kind of like what you're saying, Greg, like I wonder if he wore like a bunny suit and then like shoe covers and then balled all that up. That way none of the blood tracked out the house into the car. But then he scrubbed his car, remember? He was also like caught scrubbing his car. I don't know. If you see a friend that you thought was that drunk on the floor, you would put them in bed and check on them. Yeah, I think majority of people would probably shake a person and be like, what's going on? So I always thought that was interesting. Also, I'm going to say this, and I know that this could be probably not everyone's favorite opinion, but I never liked that Dylan called, what's her name downstairs? I can't even think of the name right now. And she was like, come down here, just run down here. You're afraid someone's in your house. So you call your roommate who's in the basement, and your solution is, well, I'm just going to run down there and we're just going to go to bed. We're not going to call 911. That's what the police are there for. If you hear anything in your house and you saw someone strange in your house. Now, I understand it was a party house, but clearly at that point in time, there was no party raging on. Why wouldn't you? I just don't understand why not call the police. I mean, I know people are like, oh, it's a trauma response, but I would never have I have not had a trauma response where I would be like, I'm not going to call the police. I'm just going to go to bed with my friend because I'm scared. I always thought that was weird. And then in the morning, they text their friends, can you come over to like check things out because we're scared. This happened last night. Again, why are we not calling 911? I would never be able to go to bed and fall asleep if I truly was scared. So that was all weird to me too. But some people get mad about that. So it's like one of those topics where it's like hard to talk about that because people do get upset. Thank you, Hope, so much for the super chat. Thank you so much. God blesses, and it's time for Patriots to fly. Go Max, and praying for you. Thank you so much, Hope. I appreciate that. I'm praying for you, and God bless you as well. Did you notice what Project Constitution is up to lately? Source, etc. New channel. Sorry for the pivot. I think I did see something about this on X actually, but I just haven't listened to everything. Because like some of the longer videos, I just haven't had time to get like caught up on yet. I saw, let's see, parts of that. Crazy information, but just when we thought we knew it all. Yeah, I have to get caught up with everything, guys. I just haven't been able to watch everything. It just never made sense for how brutal it was, and only one person for 4 victims in that short amount of time doesn't make sense. I agree, Court. I think it was very weird from the beginning. Seems like Jamie feels that way. Even why didn't neighbors call? It was a small area. I agree. And you know that the neighbors heard something because their dog was barking. And what was the other? Oh, you could hear things on the Ring doorbell camera from the neighbors next door. So I don't know, like what they heard in their house. Maybe Bethany, that's what the name is. Thank you, guys. See? Sorry, guys. I blank out sometimes. I swear, lupus brain gets me every time. But yeah, how do you go to bed if you're truly scared? It was weird. I remember the Gabby Petito case by Grizzly True Crime. So I didn't watch Grizzly, but Gabby Petito was a wild case that was devastating. I live in Florida, obviously, where the Laundries live. They live in Florida. And that, I mean, I knew from the jump Brian Laundrie had to do something to her. It just didn't make sense that it was anything else. The kid came home with the van. She's not there. Who else would it have been? It was just very obvious what went on. His parents, to me, are disgusting. They clearly helped their son get away. And I think that they were going to try to let him get away alive. I just don't think it worked out at the end of the day. But yeah, the body cam footage was horrible. Though, they should have did more for her. Well, I mean, they separated them, but still, it's a shame. It was a really, really sad situation. She was really young. Megyn Kelly is a career solace. Yeah, I have a lot of issues with Megyn Kelly. I did a video on her. I just don't believe that she has the right mindset, in my opinion. So I don't particularly care for her. I don't hate her, but I don't love her, I was thrilled for Karen Reed, completely innocent. Oh my gosh, I screamed and cried over that. I was so glad that she was found not guilty the second time around. They had no business really doing a second trial. They wasted a lot of tax money. Especially they had nothing. It was very clear that John O'Keefe didn't get hit by a car. Yeah, that whole thing, the Karen Reed trial was wild. I'm going to be doing videos on that and walking through the civil case and stuff as well. That's going to be going up on the channel too. I'm going to go from start to finish. So from when the case first started forward for the people that didn't follow Karen Reed, I'm going to go through the first trial, the second trial, and just like do highlights so that people who aren't familiar with it could get familiar with it. It was a great case. I'm going to be doing Sandra Birchmore because Sandra Birchmore runs parallel to Karen Reed, and there's a lot of people that cross over between the corruption of the two cases, which is very interesting. So that'll be in the that's in the works. And I think right now with this Brianna Aguilar case out of Texas, we're seeing some of that stuff too. And so I'm going to be doing some really deep diving into that because I think there's a lot there. So, and I will do a video on the whole Idaho thing because I followed that case start to finish. Obviously we didn't make it to trial because he decided to plead guilty. So, but there is a lot of weird stuff with it. A lot of questions being asked, a lot of new theories and things coming out. So that'll be interesting. Not to change the subject, but I am. What is the color you painted your dresser again? I was on one of your streams when you said it and didn't write it down. I love it. The dressers are, oh my goodness. Tricorn black, matte, but a matte paint. The walls are iron ore, which is a gray. Let's see. What's out? I don't know what story you're talking about. We were just talking about true crime stuff. We got into the Idaho 4, Karen Reed. Let's see. His parents are better. That Charlie Kirk's parents who abandoned their son and left Candace Owens to do the heavy lifting. Whose parents are you talking about? Because now I'm out of the loop. I'm onto other true crime stuff. Let's see. Gregory, Dylan has been sus to me from the beginning. And JS taking off right after the killings and investigation found blood on the floor, door casing outside his apartment door, and more in the bathroom. Yeah, but when you watched the victim impact statements, I mean, she was an emotional wreck. Like I think she really is traumatized. I mean, it looked real to me. I just don't understand why. I mean, also my parents raised me to call the police. Like that's what you're supposed to do. If you hear a noise and you're unsure, you don't go flying out to figure it out for yourself. If you ever have a bad feeling, listen to your gut. You and I, we've all talked about gut feelings. You guys who have been following me or been with me, you guys already know how I feel about gut feelings. And so, if you get a bad feeling, I have literally left my house and got a bad feeling about going out and turned right around like Yui, come back home and I'm like, I don't feel good about this. And then next thing you know, there's a horrible accident where someone passed away. So like, if you get that feeling, whatever it is can wait, obviously if you got to go to work, you got to go to work or so on and so forth. But I'm just saying like, if I start to get a feeling like I wanted to do something today and then I start to feel like, oh, I don't know, I just really don't want to do it or something. I don't know. I just think that that's, your gut telling you like, hey, this can wait for a reason. And so I just don't understand, like, why not call the police? That's what they're there for. False alarms are fine if you had true concerns. I mean, how do you think that you hallucinated watching someone walk through your house and then you have a friend who's on the floor? I don't know. And how did they not see the blood? How did Dylan see that she was passed out but didn't see blood everywhere, considering the stabbings? I mean, I don't, it's just weird. It's all weird. Gabby Petito's parents to Charlie's is the question. I mean, Gabby Petito's parents. What do you mean IB is the question? Charlie's parents, it's a whole different ball game, I think, with everything with Charlie Kirk. It's just different. Who is caring for those children? That's a good question. I think Glenn Beck has said that he's had the kids, and Erica has acknowledged that in the Glenn Beck interview. And we've also heard the grandparents, Charlie's parents, have them. I don't know how true any of that is. I have no idea. Obviously, she's not with them because she posts things and it's not of her kids. And clearly she's running around being a CEO all over the place. So obviously not with her kids. And that's who wouldn't want to be with their young kids when they just lost their dad? It's weird. Same here. I'm from Louisiana. That was always taught to trust my gut. It is for a good reason. I always say it's the Holy Spirit. Listen to it. Don't ignore it. Half the time when we ignore it, something bad happens. And so I just don't ignore it. I've ignored it in the past, in my early 20s. And then I'm like, I should have just listened. Do you like horror movies? I do and I don't. I'll watch more or less documentary style stuff or things that are based on true stories. If it's like Scream or It or something along those lines, I really don't watch it. Yeah. And right now I really, with creating content and trying to, research all the time. And then when I'm not researching, I'm listening to other creators to tie in other information or go over certain things that I've heard or, show you guys certain things other people have exposed and go over things. I don't really have time to watch anything for like my leisure, really. I try to make time, but it's hard. And now it's like I'm trying to play catch up. So I definitely can't think about watching anything for fun right now, which is fine. I love doing that. I'm just saying that, I generally, like I said, when my family's here, I try not to be on the phone. I try to be present. So Glenn Beck has the kids. I hope CK's parents have them. I think the grandparents do have them now, but he was helping with the children, is what I got from that. Yeah. So he was helping basically take care of them. Yeah, you guys can go back to the interview with Erica Kirk and Glenn Beck on Glenn Beck's channel, and she does thank him for helping with the kids. And there's been another interview where she talked about how he's watched them and all these different things. I obviously don't know the extent of if they're like overnight or what the deal is. I do believe that Charlie's parents have them, if she doesn't have them. But I'm saying that he was helping in some capacity. I'm not in their inner circle. I don't know the childcare situation. I just know what Miss Kirk has put out there. And what he has talked about. Yeah, I do like true crime though, so I'm always watching stuff about true crime. I agree that it's weird if Glenn Beck has their kids, but they seem to have a very close relationship, Glenn Beck and the Kirks. So I don't know. Oh, I believe someone said Charlie's parents were bad for letting Candace do the lifting and worse for Gabby's boyfriend's parents was his question. Oh, we don't know who's talking to Candace. Candace divulges certain information. So we really don't know. She's talked about how she knows more than she's given out. She's obviously vetting things. So like we don't really know what Candace knows. We just know what she has told us she knows and what she has shared with us. There's a lot of things that in the background are still going on. And so we won't know until she's ready to share that. And yeah, I don't know if his parents are not talking because they're being threatened or told not to. Who knows? I mean, I would imagine that's the case. I don't know. I mean, it's one of those things like we can't do anything about that. We just have to wait. And if they are talking to Candace, maybe the goal is like eventually they will start talking, but they're going to do it through her, or they've given her information that she's eventually going to talk about. I don't know. How do you make your eyebrows so fleek? So my eyebrows are now what's called powder brows. So essentially like brow tattooing, but not like more natural. And the reason I did this is because when I was in high school and in my early 20s, we would get our eyebrows threaded. And so my eyebrows are really this thick, but where they threaded them, because majority of us, I think, I'm 36, so a lot of us used to get our eyebrows threaded. They didn't grow back. They grew back patchy. And so I got sick of every day like penciling brows. And so I had the powder brows done because it just is really natural looking, basically. My natural hair is really dark. So yeah, I mean, and I still take a pencil and like kind of fill it in a little bit just to make it a little bit darker, just because, especially if like I'm doing, a full face of makeup, I just like them pencil in a little extra. But if I like had no makeup on or whatever, they, like they're filled in. It was just one thing that what I did was I was like, hey, this is how I typically pencil my eyebrows in. So can you just like make this essentially permanent so I don't have to do this every day? Like I said, it's because all of this is like really patchy. For some reason, like I don't know why, but threading, just if you did threading, your hair never grew back the way it was. And I'm so mad about it because I had really like thick, nice brows. And like I said, the width is still the same. It's just they don't grow fully in. But in person, like you would never know that there's not all the hair there because I just use the sorry guys for all the men in here who don't want to hear about brows. I just use the what do you call it? The Fluff by Benefit, and you just pull your eyebrow hairs, like you brush them out, and then just take a little pencil and fill in a little bit, and then you're like good to go. But I really don't even have to fill them in. I just do it after, I do a full face of makeup because it just like completes the look for me. I just like a little extra, but it was like the best thing I ever did though, because then you don't have to worry about them. So that's the key. Oh my God, there's a TPUSA commercial on Great American Family Channel right now. That's interesting. I'm iced and snowed in on a mountain in North Carolina. I'm praying for you. I know that the weather is crazy everywhere. We're getting really crazy here in Florida right now. The wind is wild. So, I would really love to know why we haven't heard from Charlie's family. Now I know I live under a rock at times, but where's the birth family and their thoughts? They're from Lamont, Illinois. I grew up, born and raised in Chicago, Illinois. Actually, where Charlie is born and raised in Lamont, is only like 20 minutes from where I lived. My family is still there. So they are now, I believe, they're more north now. They don't live in Lamont anymore. They live in Arlington Heights, I believe. So more north, not on the south side anymore. But yeah, I don't know why they're not talking. Hearing Charlie's voice in the background while watching is a little unnerving. I can't believe she made a commercial. Yeah, that's I heard that she's going to be doing a documentary or something too. Have you tried castor oil? Helps grow them back. I have, and I just haven't. I don't think it's really worked for me. I've tried it, but I probably am not consistent enough with it. And the reason is because I hate that it makes your skin feel oily. I hate that excessive oil feeling. But I love how they came out now. Even my husband was like, you know what I mean? Like they look really good. I don't regret it at all. Yeah. So let's see. but I have castor oil. I use it. It's just I don't yeah. It didn't really I tried that, and I tried to also do it along my like eyelashes to see if it would help with like eyelash growth, just to see if they would get like super long. Um I personally didn't see anything that was like a crazy difference. So but I know other people say that it works, but I think different things work for different people. Everyone's body's different. I just haven't had luck. Thank you. I'm well prepared and keeping warm. Bored but good. I'm glad you guys are all safe. I'm gonna hop off here. We're at the 2 hour mark. I'm gonna eat dinner. I haven't eaten dinner. It's 9:22. So I probably need to eat. Um, I'm a guy and I like the insight on eyebrow tech. Nice. Prepare peppering of content. Yeah. No, I appreciate that. Yeah. I just like I was so sick of penciling them in, and yeah, it was just like every day. So she's siphoning his name for money big time. Oh yeah. The Charlie Kirk name, he's got more, I think more of a following now. And they've made more money on him now. And typically you see that a lot anyway with people that they seem to sell and make more money dead than alive, unfortunately. Wait, Stacey Sheridan living with Charlie and his family at the apartment. Heard they'd sold Dream Home into some condo, which tracks with Erica, allegedly story of the CK was sleeping in another room. Yes. So they supposedly sold the house after only having it for like not even a year. It was their dream home. They were supposed to renovate it and do all this work to it, and it was going to be where they live forever. Stacey Sheridan did move in with them because her husband passed away. They had a house fire and lost everything. Tyler Boyer brought them in. And the Kirks were letting her live, I think in a condo or somewhere I think that they owned. And then she was like, I think she lived in with them at first, then moved into the condo. And then they decided for some reason to sell their place. And then I don't know if she's still living at the condo, but yeah, if you listen to the memorial speech, she goes over that stuff. And I could probably do a video too on like the whole scenario with Stacey Sheridan. I obviously don't know what's changed now, so we'll see. But yeah, thank you, Patriarch Housewife. This was great. No problem. I'm so glad I got to go live with you guys. And like I said, I know it's been a week and a half. I didn't want to take that long. I do have some exciting things coming for you guys. A really good interview that you guys are gonna love that I filmed and before my mom was here, and then my lupus was acting up, so I didn't get to edit that yet. I am having my brother help me edit that. It's got to be done in OBS, so give me time. But you guys are going to be so happy with the interview. It's going to be so surprising. I don't want to announce who it is. It's going to be so good when it comes out though. And it's not like a super formal interview. It's nice because it's kind of just like, I love when things are very natural and not super like formal in a certain sense. I like being candid. And so it's like an interview, but it's more of a candid interview than like a interview. But I think you guys are going to really enjoy it. I really enjoyed it. So, Peaky Blinders, I didn't get a notification. Yeah, you guys are going to constantly have to check your notifications, and subscriptions because, as you guys heard from Trigger Smart, this seems to be like a thing. Midwest, I'm born and raised in Chicago. I live in Florida now. So, but yeah, glad I caught the live stream. Time to log off, young lady, and fix something to eat. That's the mother of me talking. Yes, I have not eaten since breakfast. No, I lied. I did have lunch today. But yeah, I need to eat. I'm one of those people where I put off my eating. Sometimes I only eat breakfast and then dinner. And I gotta start being better about like 3 meals a day or at least snacking. Cause yeah, 9:25 for dinner is not really a good idea. And it's not something I do all the time. Usually if I do a live, I try to eat earlier, like before it. But sometimes if I'm running behind in my day, then I'll eat after the live. So usually it's not, well, I've done this a couple times to myself, you guys. I got to start being better about it, but it's okay. I'll be okay. Enjoy your dinner and evening. Good night, Nicole. Good night, guys. I appreciate all of you guys being in here. I am very worried that we may become a pure surveillance state as the big guys want. I don't know. We're just gonna have to pray on it and wait and see. I will no 3 meals a day is too hard on the body. Yeah, I never eat 3 meals. But I do think I need to like at least snack, you know? But I do a lot of fasting. So I fast for a couple days, and honestly when I fast is when I feel the best. I love fasting. Um I don't know. There's so many benefits of fasting, so I recommend it. Um we're almost there, Frank. Well, let's think positive, guys. I mean, I know it doesn't look good. I know we don't like what's going on. We're not pleased with everything, but law of attraction's real, and it starts with us. We have to if you want to make a change, you have to be the change, and you also have to get involved. And so we can't really complain about things if we're not going to do anything to try to make it better, That's how I see it. So so grateful for your time. I'm grateful for your time. I appreciate all of you guys. I will be either going live Monday night or Wednesday night. I know that I let you guys vote on Friday or Saturday. So I'm thinking if we do Fridays some weeks, then maybe we'll do Mondays, and then the weeks that we do Saturdays, then we'll do Wednesdays. That way we're like kind of spacing it out a little bit. But we'll see. We'll play it by ear and we'll see what goes on. Sam, can't wait to see you live again. Also excited for more true crime. I've been really enjoying those episodes. I'm so glad that you're saying that, Sam, because I love true crime. Like I love that. That is something that just it sparks a fire, So I'm super excited about that. And I will be definitely posting a lot of true crime. So don't worry about that. And I will see you guys all either Monday or Wednesday. I'll make sure that you guys check the post page on here, and I'll let you guys know with more advance than I did tonight. I'm sorry. Like I said, I was trying to see if I was going to feel okay. Earlier, I really wasn't feeling so good, so I didn't know how that was going to pan out. But yeah. So we'll be posting more true crime stuff. I will be posting another video of a breakdown of what I thought of the whole Erica Kirk like Zoom call. So hopefully you guys like that. I know that a lot of people have already talked about it, but I figured I'll at least go over my take on, this display of Erica Kirk, the grieving widow. So there's a class action lawsuit against TPUSA by some donors and some others. I'll have to look into that. I think I've heard that, but I'll look into it more. The closer I get to 1 meal a day, the better I feel. That's how I feel. I really do. I feel so much better when I fast and I just stay with water. So if you can train your body to not eat as much and stick with water, then it's better. Well, that's just me. I feel better that way. So I try to do that mostly. But all right, guys, have a good night. Stay safe, stay warm. I know we're all freezing, and I will see you guys this week.